Thanks for joining us today. I'm Steve West. I am the co-founder of Project Insight. And today's topic, we're going to show you how you can use Project Insight while letting your dev team stay in Jira without really disrupting their processes. We're excited to have some of our clients here today with us. Thank you for joining. I know some of the people who registered are actually using the Jira integration, and it's been great to have you guys help us make this integration work really well. And we're excited to have more customers helping us make it better. Just want to talk real quick. The last couple of years, we've been making Project Insight. We've invested a lot in our development. We've been making um, big improvements, this being one of them. The Jira integration we introduced about 3 or 4 years ago, and we've been making it better. We also have integrations with some other tools like Microsoft DevOps as well. Um, this is the first of webinar of a series of webinars we're going to have on our newer Agile capabilities that we've been building into PI. And also later this year, we are excited to be announcing that we're going to have a new updated and refreshed user interface as well. That's to come. Um, so just to show a few things, Jira was specifically designed for software development and technical projects using Agile. And uh, there's other projects that most PMOs need to do that are technology related that maybe Agile isn't exactly the right approach, or you need a mixture of approaches. And companies that we've worked with have hard time using, if there's templated and repeatable processes or processes that are in sequences or waterfall projects, they just don't work real well in Jira. So you get this conflict between the dev team and the PMO, like, one tool over the other, and we want everyone to go to our tool, or we want everyone to go out of our tool, the other tool. That kind of conflict happens, and that's part of why we did the Jira, was to say, look, let's let the dev teams use a tool that they love, keep them in there, and let's make Project Insight do the things that Jira is not able to do for the executives. And that's where Project Insight comes into play. And what you're looking at right here is the home screen for Project Insight. Before I talk about the integration specifics, I'm going to just show you some of the output that you can get by combining projects from Jira and Project Insight together. So if I navigate to uh, my Gantt chart, I can actually see a visual representation of all of the projects in the system here. Some of these projects are actually in PI, and some of these projects are made from tasks and issues and stories and all of those things in Jira. So this is a combined Gantt chart view of current projects underway, some of which are in Jira, like this cloud infrastructure is integrated with Jira. This email marketing campaign is actually not in Jira. And then if you look at my Gantt chart a little bit more, I also have blocked off future development. These projects are in Project Insight, but they represent future work that will occur in Jira ultimately. So this is just one of many different reports you can get. Another one is just our standard projects by type as well. So here we have the DevOps projects that are in Jira, and these are the client-facing projects with basic financial data and comments here as well. So this is kind of a report that you would want to see, that executives might want to see those two reports where they can get a high-level view of everything. Now, if you have some projects in Jira and some projects in another system, you have to manually make these reports, but all of this is real-time information. The other reports that are really critical, and one of the main things that a lot of clients are using our integration with, is this idea of seeing the capacity of your team. And here I have my team, and you can see I have a couple resources, Patrick Insight and Dylan Wright. Those two people are over allocated. I'm not going to do anything about that right now. I just wanted to show how you can see the capacity combined. This is a combined capacity, meaning work in Project Insight, but also work not in Project Insight. Some of these people are not in the Eric Griffith, Richard Gold, Scott. They're not in the Jira system. So this is a basic capacity report. I'll come back to this later after I show how the integration actually works. Another final one is time entries. Here again, time entries across all projects. You can see these time entries right here were added from the cloud infrastructure project from Jira. They time entries are created every time each individual person and each developer in Jira, that when they update their work status and they put in what they've completed, those get converted into time entries on the specific day that that occurred. So this works very much like a time entry system, but we convert just the regular updating in Jira into time entries and then mix them with any other time entries you might have. So if you have some developers in Jira doing it that way all the time, and then other people who are not developers, you can get a time entry report just like you would in a time entry system, but it's all integrated and combined. So I'm going to navigate now to our project home, and you can see here I have the cloud infrastructure project. And I'm going to click on it, just like any project in PI, you can get an overview here. This is how far we're done. And in this case, I actually monetize this project. You may or may not monetize a project, but you can get all the same statistics. Every single task in this particular project comes from Jira, not PI. If I click on it here, it we've got the hierarchy and is coming from Jira, the name of the task, who it's assigned to. You can see here, here's a link to the actual Jira issue in Jira. And the way that you would integrate these is in Project Insight under the edit. You can see here's an Atlassian Jira. There, you would click that link. I'm not going to show you right now, but you would click that link, and that's how you can get into connecting once you've got the integration installed in the add-ons. Just to show you how the integration works, if I click on this task, you can see here is the name and how many hours. This is the status inside Jira and the link to it. If I just open this link here, I can go and it's jumping me straight to the issue in Jira. If a developer makes a comment in Jira, maybe they say, I am having trouble with this task, and they just save that. If I navigate back to Project Insight, the next time that a developer or a PM looks at it, you can see that this user over there just added a comment here right from Jira, popped over into Project Insight. Similarly, if a project manager types in a comment here, I will give you some help tomorrow, or whatever you want. You can paste an image in here. You can do HTML type rich text in here as well. So if I click that save on that comment, and then the next, and you can see there it just popped up in real time over in Jira. So the comments are linked. The name of the issue is linked. I can update the name here. So if the developer makes a change there and then navigate back to here, you'll see that updated the name as well. Also, files are linked between the two. Let's say this requires a file and you upload a file. I just uploaded a file into Project Insight. That file appears now in Jira automatically. So that's a bi-directional change. Also, if the status gets changed for this particular issue, which let's say I update the status in Project Insight to done. I believe that that'll update over here as well and mark it done. I'm not seeing on this particular screen where that is, but these are linked up between the two. If when the developer adds some time in here, let's say we put 4 hours in today and enter it. Now I have 5 hours logged. If I come back and look at the time entries in Project Insight, there will be a new time entry right there for the 4 hours I just added. So that's where the time entries are coming in from Project Insight. Now I want to talk a little bit about, show you guys a new feature in Project Insight. We actually have a new sprint feature as well. And what we've done in this particular case is we're actually having the dates in Project Insight being calculated. These are all options, by the way. I didn't mention before that what syncs up with what is optional. So if you don't want work coming from Jira into PI, or you don't want the status from one coming over to the other, those are all configurable. I'll show you the screen for that in a minute. But in this case, what we've done is actually decided that we don't want to do sprint management in Jira, because one of the benefits that we've made our sprint feature now capable of is cross project sprints. So in here in my Project Insight, I can go to the sprints and I can take a look at this particular sprint, and you can see here we have our normal tasks here as well as a backlog. I've actually combined the cloud infrastructure project in Jira and then an implementation, which is in Project Insight, into a single sprint. And this is a new feature. So if any of you are customers would like to see this now, it's not generally available. It will be in June. So if anyone wants to get this and start working with this tool, just send us a support ticket and we'll get it turned on for you guys. I can get in here. I have a standard burn down chart. You can see the progress being made. Now, if a developer changes that status in Jira, it'll actually show up in here in this burn down, just like I was showing you. All of those time entries and the percent complete, all of that data gets rolled right up into Project Insight. But what's really cool about what we've done here is if we change the dates of our sprint, let's say I'll just do it for demo purposes. Let's say we're really starting this day. When I go back to the main project and I see the dates are all changed to match the sprint. And that data is syncing up over here in Jira as well, that those dates will get calculated. The next time there's an update made to this task, for example, if I put another comment in here or somebody makes a status update, then the next time this Jira gets updated, the dates will show up over here. So this really lets you combine, choose how you want to organize all of your projects and how you want to manage the time. Now, another thing I wanted to show, I mentioned earlier the capacity report. So here we have Dylan. He's on that cloud infrastructure project. We have Patrick. He's over allocated as well. One of the cool things about our capacity report is I'm able to drill in here and see what tasks, where they are. You can see here's a cloud infrastructure. There's also some future development there. He needs to do some help desk. That's not in Jira. Then there's some miscellaneous stuff that is in Jira. I can actually balance my resources here. I can say, well, let me move this limit bills task over to Eric and have Eric do it. Once I've done that, now I've actually lowered my capacity here for this particular task. Now that task will get changed both in Project Insight and in Jira to Eric Griffith, provided that he's a user in both systems. So this particular feature, a lot of our clients really like, because in Jira, you really can't tell who's going to do what and what their capacity is. Kind of the assumption is that the teams are set. And this lets you do that really easily. And you can see also we've got 10 weeks out. We have this future development ahead, and that's causing some of the work to be done into the future. So in Project Insight, what you can do is create these projects that'll show what someone's availability is going to be down the road. And then when it actually becomes reality, you can convert those projects into the tickets that you decide that you're going to do from Jira, or the issues. Because most of the time in Jira, you don't really know what you're going to do yet. You're just working 1 or 2 or 3 sprints out. This lets you forecast much further out, because that's what the executives need to see is, what are your people going to do? What are they going to be busy on? That's what this report is really all about. And that's one of the really great things you can do here in Project Insight with this integration. I'm going to turn it over. I think we've covered all the things that we planned on covering today. I'm going to turn it over and ask if uh, there's any questions out there. Um, Looks like, yeah, feel free to ask any questions. There's a little bit of a delay between when anybody puts a comment or a question and that I receive it. Um, so one of the questions is, can you use it with on-premise version of Project Insight? Yes, this integration works the same whether you're with using the cloud version of Jira or the on-prem. The only challenge that you might have with the on-prem is if it's behind a firewall, there's some configuration required to allow the two tools to communicate. This will work also with the on-premise version of Project Insight as well, and the cloud version. So it totally works the same. Are there any other questions out there? Yeah, so another question that we get a lot is this is whether or not you can um, combine in Jira. One of the things I didn't talk about is you can combine multiple different epics or features into one single project. So I mentioned earlier that there's a configuration involved uh, with that. If I come over here and I click on this um, Atlassian connection, here's where I can make all my settings here as well. And I see another question is, can we do custom fields? And the answer to that is yes. And if you have custom fields, that configuration shows up in this area. But you can see here, these are what you can decide which things are gonna go in which direction. Like Jira to Project Insight, we're gonna not take the dates from Jira, but we're gonna push the dates from Project Insight. Or from Project Insight, we're not gonna update the work hours. We're gonna just take them only from Jira. Uh, or you can have the work hours estimated in Jira and pushed, or in PI and pushed into Jira. So those are all really configurable. The other question is, you can have like a project like this one, miscellaneous tasks. These are coming from two different Jira projects. This The way that that's handled is you add a project and then you can specify which work item, like which epic, for example, you're going to link up to. So these are actually connected to two different Jira projects with all those settings. So you can combine multiple Jira projects into a single project for project reporting purposes. And that's, we see that a lot where Jira tends to be really flexible, so flexible that you maybe don't have the control that you really need to provide the reports that you want. So that's what we've seen people combine those projects in Jira. And we sometimes, when we work with some of our customers, we found that you need to implement a little more control on the Jira side, because a lot of times Jira can just is really can be really difficult because it's so flexible, and every project manager can start their own templates and have their own fields, and then it's hard to report on that. So we basically help you combine that information into things that are meaningful to the executives. Um, and if there are no more questions, that is going to conclude today's webinar. Or thanks for you guys for all coming and listening to our uh, webinar. We're going to have another webinar specifically showing the new sprints feature in Project Insight. That'll be in June, on a Wednesday, June 29th at the same time. So if you want to get a better, deeper view of the way the sprints works in Project Insight, we're going to do that webinar. And then in July, we're going to do the same webinar, but with Microsoft DevOps. We have the same integration with DevOps as well that does all the same kinds of things for Microsoft DevOps. So those are the next two webinars on on these Agile topics. So thanks for our customers helping us make the Agile features work a lot better, and for helping inspire some of these features. We're going to keep doing that for you guys. And we thank you for your input and your help. Anyway, thank you very much.